Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about how we can improve our cadence. Why? As I talked in the last video, to increase our running speed, we need to increase our stride length and the cadence. If you haven't seen the stride video, go back and check that out. Before we start increasing cadence, we need to know our cadence first. I would say the easiest is to use an activity watch in a running mode, so you get to see your cadence data. In this case, it's a Garmin's app. Another way is to video yourself and use a tempo app and tap when you land, so you get to see the tempo. Of course, you can tap the app while you run, but I found it's quite difficult to get it right. For example, this is a tap tempo app, and yeah, you see how it works. What's your cadence then? It might change depending on how slow or fast you run, but usually it stays in a similar zone. So just go for a run and check your cadence. You get a rough idea. What's the unit for running cadence? It's strides per minute, but we also use beats per minute, BPM, which is used for music and also for heart rate. If your running cadence is 150 or lower, I would say you could be overstriding. So go back to the video talking about how we can land properly. So you get to know that before you start increasing your cadence to prevent injuries. Oh yes, one important thing to bear in mind, keep the contact time to the ground as short as possible. That's going to reduce risk of injury. What elite runners do, researchers say that it's about 180, it's between 170 and 190 strides per minute for 5k to marathon. Yeah, it seems quite odd, but between 5k, the distance of 5k and marathon, they usually run at this cadence. In my experience with coaching, people tend to stick to their own cadence. It's rare to see someone warming up at super low cadence and they run at very high cadence for main sets or something. It's either you've got the cadence or not. Don't worry, I give it a cadence. It's kind of like learning rhythm. Do you know how dancers teach rhythm? They play a song and they start with a very simple movements. I know that if you're not used to it, it's difficult even just to toe tap to fast music. In that case, you can tap your fingers too. You can nod. You can do it verbally too, like say 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can't do continuously with simple movements, there's no way you do that with complex movements like running. So do it at your comfortable tempo and get used to it, then bring up the tempo gradually. We know that we can practice this to music at different tempo. So now I let you know, guys, what the music is like at different tempo beats per minute. 150 BPM is a bit difficult to find. Hardcore or hard style, if you search these, you sometimes get 150 BPM. But yeah, check with the tap app. Not quite my cup of tea though. 160 BPM. Good old jungle is often done at lower 160s. 100 to mid 170s is typical for drum and bass. Now 180 BPM. There are some YouTube videos made for this purpose, but the majority is like happy hardcore version of pop tunes. It kind of reminds me of bonkers back in the 90s. If you're into that, that's okay, but I'd go for faster drum and bass sets going at around 180 BPM. Take Brian G for example. He must be always on some good stuff. Obviously, I can't use V-recording stuff for my YouTube videos for copyright reasons, but I made a special video for it. Link in the descriptions. It starts slower and increases up to 180 BPM. There are hard rock and punk rock songs going at around 100 BPM too, but I'd go for electronic music because the tempo is mechanically fixed. Unless the DJ changes tempo. 190 and 200, that's more like GABA or transcore or psytrance. Some death metal is around 200 BPM too. Also, when it goes up to 200 BPM, it's gonna get quite difficult, although that's quite good as a drill, just to see how fast you can bring your cadence up. Of course, you can do it to a metronome too, but yeah, it gets monotonous. I can do that for a short while, but I can't do that for, say, 1 hour. I get tired mentally. I prefer to do it to the music. Here's a short demonstration of how you can run to the music. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, or whatever you feel comfortable, and keep tact with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. How was it? What's your favorite tempo? Get your current cadence and gradually bring that up. I think the most important thing is to gradually bring it up. Also, what elite runners do might not be best for you. What's very important is to find out what's the best for current state for yourself. It might change over the time too, and also depending on the shoes. Now you know how to increase your cadence. Test it and try my running cadence progression video. This is the end of the mini series, but I do other videos related to endurance sport like running, cycling, swimming, triathlon. So if you like to see these videos in the future, don't miss them out. Please subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell and click the like. See you in the next video.